It's February 16th, 2024, and I've decided to quit my job. I'm recording this now because I know I'm going to want to look back on this in a few months, few years, whenever. I am extremely terrified and so excited. I was born on August 1st, 2000, a Leo. The most quintessential of Leos, if I may add. From the jump, I was loud.
Thank you for this delicious day.
Love being the center of attention. Obsessed with food.
Bon appetit.
Extremely bullheaded.
Don't talk to me now. I'm busy eating my pani puri.
Goofy. Insanely dramatic. And bursting with creativity. A lot of what I'm like now as an adult. I had absolutely no fear, and at a moment's notice, I would be rehearsing my performance for that year's upcoming talent show, no matter how many people were in the room. I would have an idea for a project and simply do it without worrying if that idea was too weird or what people would say.
What are you doing?
I'm coloring.
I love being in front and behind the camera. When I was in middle school, I wanted to start a YouTube channel and picked up my parents' DSLR, taught myself how to edit on iMovie, and made cooking videos.
And today we're going to be making beef stew.
There was never any hesitation to bring my ideas to reality. The point wasn't whether I was good or bad at any of these things, but that I simply loved creating. The best part about being a kid is that you feel invincible and naively optimistic about the future. You have dreams about what your life could be like, and you shoot for the moon because you believe at the very least you'll land among the stars. So that's what I did. I dreamt of being an actor, opening a restaurant, being a YouTuber, a photographer, a teacher, an author, and I truly thought I would do them all. But somewhere along the line, I grew up, and those dreams started falling into the shadows of the have-tos. You have to get a good score in your SATs and APs because you have to get into a good college, because you have to major in something practical, because you have to get internships at good companies, and you have to graduate with a stable 9-to-5 job. Because isn't that what everyone else does? College, corporate, retirement, happiness. Follow the yellow brick road secure with safety and stability, even though you may be forfeiting what you love to do. But that's okay because eventually you'll be happy. I'll be honest, a lot of those pressures were self-imposed. I grew up in the Bay Area, a place known for prioritizing your academics, career, and money over anything else. These passions and dreams started to take a backseat as my priorities focused more and more on the grades I got in exams, and wearing my lack of sleep as a badge of honor because how else are you going to prove to others that you're working hard? Or caring so much about my job title and company I worked at because the validation I received from others when I said I worked at a Fortune 50 company was the right amount of instant gratification I needed to keep delaying what I actually wanted to do. That girl who used to be hyper creative, goofy, and fearless suddenly became anxious, overly serious, and kind of boring. I was afraid to do the things that used to make me stand out because I became so worried about fitting in. I fully convinced myself that I didn't want any of those things I wanted as a child. That my pure obsession for food, culture, and cooking could just be a segment of my life. that being creative wasn't important, that my dream to be a YouTuber was cringy and impractical, that opening a restaurant wasn't really going to happen. And I thought I can get away for the rest of my life chasing promotions and climbing the corporate ladder and drinking the Kool-Aid just like I saw everyone else doing. I started compromising on the life I envisioned for myself because those goals I had when I was younger felt further and further from my realm of reality. But the more and more I stayed in a job I saw absolutely no future in, the less and less I wanted it. All I wanted was to have a career centered around my passions, and I wasn't going to find that at a desk job. Maybe it's because I'm a Leo. I'm stubborn and incredibly indecisive. But I don't want to just have one career for the rest of my life. I want to have them all. I had this list on the side of my bed that I wrote a year ago of all the hobbies I want to learn and careers I want to pursue and lives I want to live. Become fluent in Spanish. Live abroad. Become a photographer. A teacher. Write a book. Build a social media brand. Open a restaurant. And hike the PCT, to name a few. I made a promise to myself then and there that I would do every single thing on that list. But soon realized it wouldn't be possible if I was working a job that left me mentally and emotionally drained every day. Sometimes you need to be doing what you don't want to remind you of what you do. Yes, this list is long, but only 2 of those things are the most important goals. Opening a restaurant and becoming a content creator. I always knew there would be a day I would leave my day job to pursue either one. The restaurant goal, that's an endeavor for later down the road. But creating and sharing content about my life, that I'm no longer waiting to do. For as long as I've known, I've loved content creation. Whether it was my 2 extinct YouTube channels, or my food blog, or hosting food pop-ups out of my college apartment thanks to my social media promotion where I sold hundreds of orders of food, or oversharing my life on my Instagram stories where I connect with people in my DMs about mental health and traveling. Or maybe it's a million friends that I've made from Facebook groups. I've always had a knack for building an online presence and a love for finding a way to bring value to others despite there being only a screen to connect us. Whether it's making someone chuckle at a silly little dance I'm doing, or inspiring someone to start solo hiking, or teaching new skills in the kitchen, or comforting a person across the world by sharing about my 10-year battle with depression. I love the idea of making the world feel a little less lonely through something I've made. I was depressed for the majority of my adolescence and cared so much about what people thought of me. The career I had, how much money I was making, the school I was going to. But isn't she the only person I should care who thinks about me? My younger self? Would she be proud of me? If I manage to successfully overcome my crippling depression, I have faith that I can do anything. Because nothing can be harder than that. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in regret over the things I never did. I don't want the fancy car, or the big house, or the vacations to Europe if that means my dreams died in my childhood. I don't want to waste time in a pointless career just to take home a paycheck that boxes away my passions as hobbies.
2, 1.
I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what if. Because maybe, just maybe if I finally committed to myself, my dreams, for a year, maybe 2, I'll be able to build the creative career I've always wanted for myself. Isn't that what your 20s are for? Taking risks, chasing your goals, exploring. What's the point of having goals if you're never going to go after them? So that brings me to now. What am I actually doing? I'm becoming a content creator. I want to share photos from my travels and tell a story through pictures. Using those photos in my writing on Substack, where I share battles from my mental health. Or on YouTube through long-form video, where you get to see a bigger part of my life. Or Instagram, where I simply show you the absolute unfiltered version of myself. Or start a Patreon, where I get to connect with you one-on-one and send you snail mail through postcards, collages, or prints of my photography. I want to build a community of people around my work and somehow get paid to do so. I see so many people out there doing the same, so who's to say I can't either? I want to live a million lives and have endless adventures and collect stories to share with my future grandkids. And bring you along the way. I want to document my life and introduce you to the people who have made me who I am today. And tell you about that time I nearly froze to death in the Grand Canyon. Or about my crazy family and how they'll break into song and dance any chance they get. Or when I sold 120 fried chicken sandwiches from my apartment and somehow managed to not give anyone salmonella. Or when I backpacked Europe for 3.5 months all on my own. Or that time I got stuck on Catalina Island with my sister and had to call the Coast Guard. Because my life is a movie, and I want to show you it. I have a year's worth of savings. I live with my parents, and I frankly have no reason to push aside these dreams anymore. How often are you given the privilege to choose your own adventure and follow your passions? It's a blessing I don't take for granted in the slightest. Don't get me wrong. Part of me is a little scared. It's going to be hard. Navigating a career in something I've only ever done as hobbies. A crap ton of work. But just because something is hard isn't a reason for you not to do it. I kept thinking to myself, what would the worst case scenario be? And if it's that things may take a little longer than expected, so be it. I'm not expecting overnight success. So many successful artists didn't necessarily make their breakthrough right when they were 23. I want this bad enough that I'm willing to wait. Willing to compromise. I'm making this public declaration as a reminder to my younger self that my dreams are in fact real. They were never these lofty ambitions that suddenly expired when I became an adult. All those things I wanted to become will still happen, despite being unconventional. Because being different is good. It means that you're okay with standing out, with being recognized for trying something that everyone else is too scared to do. Life is too short to spend time chasing shiny objects you don't actually want. Life should be about experiences and finding what brings you happiness. Taking risks to pursue your dreams no matter how scary they may seem. To embrace the unknown and discomfort because you know after that it'll all be worth it. I'm done limiting myself by my fear of embarrassment or judgment from others or fear of failure. Because what is failure at the end of the day? To me, failure is not trying. Because in my books, as long as I've tried as hard as I can, I've succeeded. Isn't that what life is about? I'm done painting a picture of the life I want as this unfathomable fantasy that is too unrealistic to manifest. I'm taking my dreams off the pedestals I put them on. Everything I want in life is in fact achievable. And closer in my realm of reality than I think. So, maybe I am still that girl I was as a kid. Loud. Fearless. Ambitious. Goofy. Creative. Maybe I didn't lose her dreams after all. Maybe I still am her.